Narcissistic Abuse, Take 4. Hey y'all. So today I'm here to talk about a topic I really don't feel like talking about. And that topic is narcissistic abuse and related topic, toxic relationships. Now, there was a time in my life, which many of my friends can tell you this is true, where narcissistic abuse was about the only thing I talked about. I used to have a blog called Emotional Rape Survivor. You can't find it anymore. But I had this great misfortune in the summer of 2015 on July 4th, not to put too fine a point on it. I met for the first time a friend of a friend. I'd heard about him, and he started hitting on me. And I told him no at first, but then I told him yes. Well, I should have stuck with the no, people, because what happened over the course of the next 2 years, almost 2 years, whatever, 23 months, was really the most severe fucking hell I have been through in my entire life. And if you know me or are familiar with my writing, you know that that is saying an awful lot. This guy dethroned the previous worst boyfriend of all time, who had held that title for, oh my gosh, 20 years. This is a really bad one. So anyways, when I got out of it, I was in really bad shape. We'll just put it like that. And then a friend of mine on Facebook, because Facebook and other social media can be good and helpful, pointed me to a video on YouTube. And the topic of that was narcissistic abuse. And when I watched that video, it resonated with me so much, I thought, no way. It didn't even dawn on me that guy had been a narcissist. Well, it turns out there's a couple of different kinds of narcissism. I'll let you go down that rabbit hole, but one of them is covert narcissism. And so another thing is when one is involved with a narcissist, and unfortunately I've been involved with a number of them, beginning with my father was a narcissist, you can get kind of a Stockholm syndrome where you begin to really sympathize with your abuser. Things get very, very confusing. And also my personality type and traits, which I'll talk about more in different episodes, sort of left me wide open and vulnerable to the kind of abuse that was rained down on me. And it really fucking sucked. So I don't want to go too far into it, but I do want to say that if you're coming out of a situation and feeling pretty crazy, and maybe you got ghosted a lot, or maybe on a holiday like your birthday or a big holiday, this person that you were involved with either really cranked up the affection or really withheld the affection, sometimes those are clues that you've been involved with a narcissistic abuser. They are extremely clever. They completely shred their victim's self-esteem, and it's a nightmare. But the way they get you hooked, there's this thing, it's called love bombing. And I can look back now only with hindsight and see how precisely my situation fit these different steps that these abusers use. And narcissistic abusers can be men or they can be women. I often think of them as men because those are the ones I've been involved with. But anyway, I'll let you look up narcissistic abuse traits, and I promise you, if you have been with a narcissistic abuser, even if you don't realize it, your jaw will drop. So I started reading all these articles, and I felt like, oh my gosh, these people have read, my journals. Like, they're writing about me specifically, which, yes, ironically, I know that sounds a little narcissistic. I don't mean it that way. And so my mind was blown. And I will tell you, even though I want you to stick around and watch this video, when you're done watching it, somebody who helped me tremendously is a woman whose name is Kim Saeed, and her website is letmereach.com. And she just has tons of articles about narcissistic abuse. So I would really point you to her if you want to get some truly expert advice. But the two other things that I'd like to share with you are these. One, all of the articles that I read, or most of the articles that I read, suggested the same thing as a really important part of healing, which I thought I was never going to heal from this, and that is self-care. And honestly, when I heard the term self-care, it really kind of rolled my eyes at it, because to me it sounded like such a wildly indulgent sort of thing that this, I heard this term once, spiritual white women. You know, to me it sounded like something spiritual white women with trust funds do. They do self-care, they go to spa and stuff. I actually like going to the spa, and I don't have a trust fund. But you know, because all of the articles recommended self-care, I started practicing self-care. It's actually a practice that I had in place before I met my last abuser, totally fell by the wayside. And then in the aftermath, I started trying it again. And I have reached a point now where I am the queen of self-care. And that's a topic that I'll delve further into in another episode. But for now, the second thing I wanted to tell you is a way that I am really, an easy way for me to illustrate for you what narcissistic abuse looks like is to share with you my revision on a popular children's story. So I hope that you enjoy my interpretation and reading of a book that I like to call The Taking Boy. There was a tree. She was a perfectly wonderful tree all by herself, but sadly she didn't know that because she was raised in the forest of rampant sexism, aka planet Earth. And so she deluded herself into believing she loved a selfish little boy. Well, here comes the little fucker now. And every day the boy would come knowing in his malignant narcissistic heart he could suck her dry because clearly she was compassionate and empathic and a little codependent. Yo, bitch, I'm back. And so he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest, never saying please or thank you, just taking. He would climb up her trunk and dry hump her even when she said no, and swing from her branches, not giving a rat's ass about her bursitis, and eat her apples because, again, take. And they would play hide and go seek, which is what they called ghosting back in the old days. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade because it was all about him, and never mind that he promised to stay awake and listen to how her day went. And the boy loved the tree as a source of constant attention because he was a bottomless pit of neediness. Very much so. And the tree was happy. Oh, wait, no, she wasn't. She just had Stockholm Syndrome. But time went by, as time does, and the boy grew older and decided he needed a new supply to satisfy his narcissistic bullshit because the tree was starting to catch on, which infuriates narcissists. And so the tree was often alone because, you know, more ghosting. Then one day the boy came to the tree because his new victim was out shopping. And the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." Because she had a little bit of amnesia. "I am too big to climb and play," said the ungrateful boy. "I want to buy things and have fun with my new victim. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples." "But you're in luck. I'm a martyr. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money to buy Coke and whiskey, and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away and sold them to some hipster food truck that sells overpriced handcrafted cider. And the tree was happy. Wait, no, she wasn't. Hang on. But by then, she had been sufficiently gaslighted and thus confused abject misery with happiness. The boy stayed away for a long time because assholes will do that. And the tree was sad. Actually, she was lucky, but she didn't realize it. And then one day the boy came back because he needed something, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy, because neglect will make you say crazy shit like that." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. Of course he did. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said, because it never wasn't about him, fucking him. I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house? I have no house, said the tree. The forest is my house, but you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy. And I will be happy because I love helping needy-ass boys trapped in men's bodies. And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And he left her standing there naked and cold, and he didn't even say bye because he sucked. And the tree was happy. Well, actually, she was in desperate need of a good trauma therapist to help her understand she was being abused, but she wasn't ready to hear that yet. And the boy stayed away for a long time because he knew this would incite desire. And when he came back, the tree was so gaslighted she could hardly speak. Come, boy, she whispered, come and play. I am too old and sad to play, said the boy. Really? He was just drunk again. I want a boat that will take me far away from here. No human is dumb enough to help me. Can you give me a boat? Cut down my trunk and make a boat, said the tree, because by now she was totally deranged from all her time with this narcissistic fuck. Then you can sail away and be happy. And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. Of course he did. And then he blamed the victim. And the tree was happy. But not really. Fucking finally, goddamn moment of clarity. After a long time, the boy came back again. I am sorry, boy, said the tree, but I have nothing left to give you. And though her apology was sincere, if entirely unnecessary, the fuck-faced boy perceived it as weakness, and he judged her for it. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak for apples, said the boy, because it was still all about him. My branches are gone, said the tree. You cannot swing on them. I am too old to swing on branches, said the boy, who deserved to be beaten with branches. My trunk is gone, said the tree. You cannot climb. I am too tired to climb, said the boy. Sustaining this level of assholeness is exhausting. I am sorry, sighed the tree. I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump. I'm sorry. Because like so many other females, she just couldn't stop saying she was sorry. I don't need very much now, said the boy, though a foot up his ass wouldn't have been a bad idea. Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired. Well, said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could, well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down, sit and rest. I won't ask you why your wife left you. Just put your lazy, hairy, ungrateful ass down on top of me. And the boy did, because it is a fact. Narcissists cannot ever change. And the tree was duped yet again because sadly, some of us never learn. The end. I actually really enjoyed writing that book, and I hope that you enjoyed hearing me read it. I like it when I can be in a place of smiling, even though I'm talking about hard topics, because to me, what that indicates is that I have done a lot of healing. And honestly, if you could have seen me in the summer of 2017, I wasn't eating, my sleep was all off, I was just distraught, I was a shadow of myself. And I literally could not look in the mirror without stepping away because I looked dead to myself. It was so painful for me to see how much pain I was in. And lots of people also noticed it. So the fact that I can smile now and with relief that I'm alive, that I'm out of that situation, that I know that I never have to get into that situation again, I don't know, I want to say something goofy. It's like Noah seeing the rainbow. It's like the covenant. There will never be a flood like this again. In case you're not familiar with me, I'm not really a Bible person, but that just popped into my head. Anyway, if you're suffering from the fallout of narcissistic abuse, it really is a very serious thing. You really can feel like you're losing your mind, and a lot of that relates to being gaslighted, taken advantage of, just like the taking boy just stripped that tree completely bare and then fucking sat down on her. If you're feeling like that tree, I really encourage you to do some digging on the internet, get some help, get a trauma therapist, and take care of yourself, and you really can feel better. Hey y'all, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you'll like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this episode, I hope that you'll copy this link, share it with a friend, paint it on a wall, put it on your social media. That'd be great. Thanks a million. Take it easy.